We got ourselves another Victory Monday. As I said, happy Victory Monday to everybody out there in Viking land. 48-10, absolute ass-kicking domination by the Vikings, namely the defense against this Bengals team. I mean, look, this is exactly what this team needed, right? Coming off the disappointing loss to the Falcons on Sunday Night Football.
Right.
And then coming back here with you find out this last week, JJ McCarthy's going to miss some time with the ankle injury, and it just kind of snowballed. It's all this stuff, it's just kind of look. Everyone loves football. We love the Vikings, but I mean, hearing all that news at once after that loss did kind of take away a little bit from the joy of this season and kind of things we were hoping for. But then knowing that you had a veteran in Carson Wentz who's looked good in the past, he's had big moments, he's played in big moments. You were bringing in a veteran type starter to try to carry this team, push that offense forward. And it was up and down a little bit. Started off hot, took a little bit of dip in the middle of the first quarter, but eventually the offense did end up kind of figuring things out, along with that defense as well. So a lot to get into here, but overall, you got to be impressed with how this team responded to what was a very disappointing loss Sunday night, the weekend before. And look, I mean, halftime, this thing could have been bleak, right? The Bengals are going down to try to make it a one-score game, end up flipping the script. We end up double dipping there to get 10 points in the last couple minutes of the half, and it's just kind of leading to this dominant victory. And big shot in the arm, especially before this 2-game overseas trip.
Yeah, if there's a way to like bounce back or feel better of how the season's going, because even all the injuries, and it's still piling up, but all the injuries and all that stuff. I mean, the best way to bounce back from something like that is to beat a team 48-10. It definitely helps the wounds a lot, and obviously the JJ McCarthy. We're going to be going through this whole JJ McCarthy Wentz thing. Even just JJ McCarthy, when he does come back, and hoping that we do see something good out of him, and the jury is still out on him and all that kind of things. But coming in this one and just seeing how dominant this defense was is just the biggest thing, because you can go a long way with a really good defense, and obviously we have all the talent on offense. To feel like, everything will round out there. I mean, we had a good balanced offense last week. I still think there's room for this offense to really dominate, especially with Addison coming back this week, which I'm super excited about. But it's been interesting because you mentioned the Falcons after that game, and it's kind of funny because after we narrowly beat Chicago, they go and get their ass absolutely handled by the Lions, and now you can't even draw up a worst case scenario than kind of getting your butt whooped by the Falcons for them to lose 30-0 to arguably the worst team in the NFL. So that's kind of interesting, but the NFL is a weird place. The Cleveland Browns beat the Packers. The Packers are just ass. Beat the Packers. Jordan Love ass. I mean, we got to bring that up. They kind of suck. And obviously you go 1 week, lose to a Falcons team, bounce back, win by 48 points. It's a weird sport in that way when you do see stuff like that happening. So it's definitely a very interesting start of a season, to say the very least. Unexpected, but hey, hopefully we're good moving forward here. Let me do some shout outs here before moving on, because our guy, Skol for Life Barber, Skol for Life, Subs, Casey and Jamie, KOC finally blew out a team. That is true. That's true. Without having it to be a close. Yeah, that's true. From just absolutely blew out a team. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's going on, Barber? Nick, my guy, greatest single game performance I've ever seen from a defensive player. Hats off to Rodgers. We'll obviously get into him with that 9, which it's kind of weird because everyone is saying the 90, even PFF saying 90, the perfect PFF score. But I was on PFF today and they don't have him at a 99. So I don't know what that's all about. I'll kind of look at those when you go.
I mean, I thought they did for overall grade, but some of the other grades weren't quite 99.
No, it was like here. I don't have my second screen today. I can bring it up real quick though. So I'll look it up here. Unless I don't know if they did. I don't know what. I mean, even on their front page when you go there, it's Isaiah Rodgers with the perfect score. And then I go into the regular thing that we usually do to see them defense, unless they changed it on me. Right now it says 90.9 defensive grade and 91.2 coverage, where it was 99.9 defensive grade and 98 in coverage. So I don't know how that works, or if they're. I know it was like something to do with all 22. I don't know if that like changes anything.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. We're chalking it up by as the first perfect score in PFF history. What a stud, Isaiah Rodgers, and what a grab by Quasi and all the draft. Quasi sucks at drafting haters. I get it. He should be better at drafting, but he knows how to build a team. He's the rare guy that can go into free agency and find gems and build a team that way, which does not happen very often. Our guy Mark Philly. That's what we calling you, Mark. We're calling you Philly. I'm cool with that. I like that. Eric in the building. What's going on, Eric? From New Mexico. Skol and roll. Go Ravens. Oh, yeah. Big game tonight. Game tonight. I know we're first in the division right now. Yeah. So if the Lions lose tonight, we keep that going. Let's go. Hey, Delton, I don't understand our offensive woos. 4 3-and-outs in a row. Then the next drive, they get 1 first down, 5 possessions in a row, netted 28 yards in the first half.
I mean, we can talk about that. I have thoughts. I think we all kind of share those same thoughts. We can talk about that in a sec here, though.
Aaron for situation, Scott for RB2. It'll be interesting. Aaron looked really good in the passing game, though. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when he comes back. But we got some time. Hey, FT Maddie's in the building. FT, we miss you, man. We missed you. Bob Sweet, let's go. I have one question. Philly is what everyone calls me. Hello. I did not know that. I'll call you Philly. I mean, I'm calling you Philly. That's it. I'm just calling you Philly now. That's it, officially. I have one question I want y'all to go over before the end of the show. The return of Addison, wide receiver 3. What do you mean who's wide receiver 2?
I mean, Jalen Naylor is the clear-cut wide receiver 3 in my mind over Thielen.
Yeah. But he ain't putting up Addison.
No, Addison's wide receiver 2 right away. Naylor, I'll give him wide receiver 2.
Yeah, Adam Thielen is definitely not been wide receiver 3 at this point, unless you're putting Hawkinson as wide receiver 2. But that's even Addison. I mean, you got to come in here Addison could come in here and put up Justin Jefferson numbers at this point, because there's not that same level of, unless Wentz and JJ continues build his chemistry. I mean, Addison's just kind of been around throughout the, like with JJ McCarthy and Addison or Justin Jefferson, it wouldn't have been crazy to see that Addison had stronger chemistry earlier, so it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, Adam hasn't met expectation. We'll get into more of him later. What up, Vikings? Jerome in the building, my guy. Let's go. Anyways, we can jump into some Wentz here. We don't got too much stuff. This is gonna be a little bit of a shorter show. I have to go pick up my kid early today, but we got to talk about Carson Wentz, our opinions on that whole situation, and then, of course, give our studs and duds, which really is us kind of giving our overall thoughts and in detail on this game. But we kind of went with our initial thoughts here. Casey, I'll let you start this off. How did you think Wentz did, and how do you think his performance, if at all, have changed the future of this season, I guess?
As of right now, I mean, look, this is exactly what you want him to do. And Kevin O'Connell referenced it after the game and today during his post game or his day after game press conference, where Carson Wentz just needed to go out there and just distribute the football, right? Just play it safe, get the ball to your playmakers, and let him do the rest of the work. And he obviously made a couple big throws when he needed to. I believe I saw a couple people say that two of his 3 sacks were on him, not necessarily play calling or offensive line. Because I thought overall, even with the backup center and Darisaw in his first start, with Darisaw, by the way, we'll talk about him more later. But holy moly, what a difference he makes. But I just feel like Carson Wentz had a ton of time, and I just don't like how much he double clutched the ball. I noticed that a couple times. I mean, that's going to get you in trouble, especially against better defenses. But I don't know. Nothing to me. One game in so far, obviously hasn't been here that long. We'll see how it goes these next couple overseas, depending on how many starts he gets. But nothing to me said that he's going to run away with this job and they're not even going to consider going back to JJ McCarthy. I thought he did exactly what you want. Play point guard, distribute the football. Don't make mistakes. That's the biggest thing. Just you don't need to be a hero with this offense the way the defense is playing. Just get the ball to your playmakers. Don't make mistakes. He did that perfectly. Exactly what you wanted from him. But we'll see with the more comfortable he gets, maybe he starts taking more chances. Maybe O'Connell opens this thing up a little bit. But for now, I just don't see anything that makes me think that he's taking this job away from JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. Like JJ McCarthy, this is, of course, like it is not surprising to me at all. And that Wentz comes in here and he just plays smarter, more careful football. He's a veteran. He's 32-year-old veteran who was a second overall pick at some point. To me, it seems, of course, he's going to come in here and make less mistakes than JJ McCarthy. That's not a big surprise to me at all. And, he came in and you said the double clutch thing. I mean, he still held the ball too long, still took 3 sacks, was missing some big throws. Again, very fair point that he hasn't been here very long and he doesn't have a big rapport with these receivers and all that stuff, even though he did seem to kind of open up TJ Hawkinson that nobody really has been able to in a while here, which is really nice to see. But that's the point though, is like, that's not what we need. Like, we need, and I've said this before, when it comes to Carson Wentz, unless you feel like he's the difference between you winning a Super Bowl this year, why ruin the development of JJ McCarthy? Whether it's his development or even getting a good understanding of how far away he actually is, since we're kind of riding on these next 3 years, no matter what. And Wentz needs to, like, at this point, Wentz put up a performance where you're like, okay, I feel like we can win games because he's not going to make mistakes. That's not good enough. If he's in there and you're sacrificing JJ's development, then Wentz better win you a Super Bowl.
Maker on offense.
He needs to be more like a Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold kind of gave us more of that vibe actually last year, and I was still down with moving on from Sam Darnold and worrying more. Obviously, we were going to have to pay him more money and things like that. But Wentz didn't have a Sam Darnold game or anything like that. He just went in there. He did what he had to do to win, didn't make mistakes, played like a vet, which is good. And I think Eric said it best up here. When Carson Wentz plays the safe route, which is good for a backup quarterback. Exactly. That's what you want from your backup quarterback, is you want a guy to come in and not make mistakes and ride on your talented players, and especially when you can ride on your defense. And obviously the best defense performance that we've probably, which just says a lot, that we've seen in honestly a very long time. That might be one of the best defensive games we've ever seen, especially the first half. And then you get Christian Darrisaw back and all of that. So it's like, we didn't win off the arm of Carson Wentz at all, but he came in and did what he had to do. And he makes me feel comfortable moving forward that we can go out and win these next 2 games overseas too.
Yeah.
So still kudos to him.
For sure. And like he's played conservative, get the ball to your playmakers, don't make mistakes. That was the biggest thing. Like when you're down in the red zone, like just if the play's not there, just dump it, get rid of the ball. We got to just score points when you can. So, and that's, he did an amazing job at all of that. Just keeping things in perspective and just moving the offense forward when he could. But a couple times took the sack, held on to the ball too long. Again, the double clutch thing, I don't like to see that. But hey, at the end of the day, no turnovers, 2 touchdown passes. So good on him. I mean, this is exactly what you brought him in for, in case you need him in a situation like this where he needs a spot start. Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. And it makes I do feel confident moving forward. And I do think like FT does, I mean, makes a point, like, the more reps and stuff he can get better, but it's like, what level of better? Like to a level where you think he automatically makes our offense like Super Bowl type level offense. Do I think JJ McCarthy can do that? Do I think JJ McCarthy can do that better than Wentz? Maybe later in the year. That's what we're hoping to see in the later of the year. But that's the point, is this year's about the development of a 22-year-old quarterback you picked in the top 10 who missed a whole year of any sort of football whatsoever. Not just, he's injured the entire time. So it's fair to say that he's I think it's definitely fair to say that he needs time to develop. And if unless Carson Wentz looks like, oh my God, like with Carson Wentz, we are going to win a Super Bowl this year. I think we're the best team in the NFL. That's where it comes down to. With Carson Wentz, are we the best team in the NFL? If the answer is no to me, then you need to make sure you know what you have in JJ McCarthy.
For sure. And Maddie, thank you for the $10. And we'll talk about that as well when we get into the studs and duds here. But yes, absolutely.
Yep. So obviously this is a conversation, and I do want Wentz to keep doing good, and I do want him to do better, but unless he blows, unless it's just undeniable, which he did not look that way. There's a lot of passes that he missed, and you said the double clutch thing, and he took a long time to throw the ball. Very fair with how long he's been here, but you need to see a lot more.
Especially because the defenses don't get any easier. I mean, the Steelers stacked, the Cleveland Browns stacked on defense, as we saw yesterday with the Packers. So, the task doesn't get easier. So, you're going to have to be better and play more efficiently, and we'll talk more about that when we get into the later here. But,
let's go jump into it right now here. So, studs and duds, starting with, we'll go studs. I mean, obviously, when you win 48-10, there's going to be quite a bit more studs and duds here, but we have to talk about player of the game, player of the defensive game, the best defensive game arguably ever, some people are saying, and definitely in one half for sure. And that's got to go to our guy, Isaiah Rodgers, the super stud. Interception for a touchdown, 2 strips, one of those the strip, pick up the ball and run for touchdowns. Insane. His speed is off the charts. The first we already talked about it earlier, but I mean, it came out originally, the first perfect PFF score in PFF history, which is completely insane. 98 in coverage, really nice defense against T. Higgins as well. Just everywhere. The first player in NFL history to, and I know Casey loves these stats, but the first player in NFL history, what is it, to have 2 defensive touchdowns and 2 strips in the same game, and he did it in one half. Monster game by Isaiah Rodgers, and an absolute steal in free agency again. That Kwesi was able to do there.
I mean, and just how sneaky he punched that ball out from Noah Fant and just on top of it, picked it up, started running. Like, I didn't know what happened. I'm like, okay, I think they got a first down there. Awesome. But then all of a sudden you see him running the other way with the football, and then they showed the replay. It was pretty amazing how all that worked for him. But I mean, and when he came in here, we said it. We said it. The night of free agency before any of the other signings happened. Like, this is a Flores guy. Like, this is a guy that Flores said, "Hey, this is the type of guy that I need on this team. Go find a way to get him," and they did that. So, there's a reason he's here, and this is the exact reason. I mean, hasn't had really a chance to show it because he started off with the Colts, missed that season with the suspension for gambling, had a big play in the playoffs last year. Scooping up the fumble and returning it to the 5-yard line for the Eagles. So there was bits and pieces. Like, if this guy gets a real chance to start, he could be this type of player, and we saw it yesterday. So great game by him. We'll see. We'll see if he can keep it up. I mean, obviously, you don't expect a performance like this often, but super cool to see it happen.
Hopefully we see this every single week.
Right, exactly. But super cool. Obviously, like I said, kind of it's history-making type stuff. A great game. And this is a big reason why we were able – I mean, obviously, the biggest reason why we were able to get this one done.
Yeah, man. And honestly, it all starts with Harry coming in and tipping that ball to Isaiah Rodgers. That's what's so cool is Harrison Smith comes in, kind of start with that tip, started everything. It's really started with that tip to Isaiah Rodgers, brings the energy to this defense and the entire defense. I mean, I can't think of a single negative thing on this defense coming into this game. Second worst in the NFL, allowed the second most yards in the NFL on the ground. We only allow 53 overall. 3 yards on 10 carries to Chase Brown, and only 50 yards receiving to Jamar Chase over there. So just all around good game on this team. I can't even think of a single loser on this defense. Everybody looked great. All the way from, I'll let you dive into some more players and stuff, but I mean, even Ivan Pace Jr., I'll even bring him up. Even after all the flack we've all been giving him, same with TJ Hawkinson, comes out and has the best game of this year, leads the team in tackles, and really steps up for us in the run game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I kind of want to talk about the defensive front here. I mean, so we did come away with 4 sacks in total, 1 by Chaz Chambliss at the end there, 2 by Van Ginkel, and 1 by Austin Keys. Now, I mean, the 2 Van Ginkel sacks, yes, he finished them, but that's the thing. This is a defense playing in tandem, right? Grenard almost had the sack, pushed him up into the pocket, allowed Van Ginkel to get there, and then I believe Jalen Redmond might have kind of blown the play up and forced him out of the pocket on Van Ginkel's second sack. So just good team defense. But what all these edge rushers are doing, right? And then you look at a guy like Jonathan Grenard, who finished with, let me find him here. 3 tackles, 2 solo tackles, 2 tackle for loss, and even a guy like Dallas Turner. Like, look, Dallas Turner, we needed him to take that big step this year. You're gonna look at the stat sheet, 1 total tackle, nothing else. But the stats don't always tell the story, especially when it comes to what Dallas Turner did. He was a menace in the backfield. In the run game, he was amazing. He was forcing Browning off the spot, forcing him into some mistakes. So Dallas Turner, if you really watched, it was all over the place in this game. So, I mean, all 3 edge rushers. And then, I mean, Flores basically putting Turner out there for the first 2 downs, and then giving Van Ginkel the obvious pass rush downs on 3rd down. So all 3 of these edge rushers are getting things done in their own way, and the guys in the middle. I mean, big games by Levi Drake. I mean, the lower guys here, like Jonathan Allen. I think Javon Hargrave left with an injury, but the big guys you got to talk about in the middle are Jalen Redmond and Levi Drake Rodriguez, who both had amazing games. Levi Drake Rodriguez finished with 2 tackles for loss. And then Jalen Redmond, 2 total tackles, but he was a menace in the middle. So just this entire defensive front, man, was playing amazing. And it all helps when Ivan Pace can tackle better like he did this game for sure.
Yeah. In the PFF, I'm looking at PFF stuff. They didn't really give Ivan Pace or Dallas Turner really great grades here, but I don't know. They look just fine to me. LDR with 79 total snaps. Was actually second if you take out Harrison Smith, who only had 22 snaps, and Austin Keys, who only had 8. Levi Drake Rodriguez would come in second highest defensive grade, which is huge to see that from a position that, me and you specifically have been worried about, not just feel better about because of Jonathan Allen Hargrave, but even you move on from Harrison Phillips and you see they must be pretty dang confident in Redmond, and you don't even really Redmond and Ty Ingram Dawkins, and you were kind of not you specifically, but a lot of us were LDR, LDR is still a sleeper in that situation, and he's really stepped up this year in general. So that's really nice to see from him. Another one, I do want to bring up another guy too that I wasn't even thinking about, who I feel like has taken a step forward this year, and that's Jay Ward. All 3 games, man. I mean, you see some plays. You're not really seeing him getting beat anywhere on the field. Even looking at these PFF grades, that's why I say that he's near the top almost every time. Obviously, he's not getting starter snaps or anything like that, but he's definitely taken a step forward, it seems like, which is really nice to see from, of course, Kwesi's draft picks and all that good stuff there. I don't know what's going on with PFF, though. They got, maybe I'm starting to think that, because if anyone goes on PFF, it shows Blake Cashman on here. It showed JJ McCarthy on offense. And I'm like, maybe Isaiah Rodgers just broke the whole fucking thing. And maybe their PFF stuff is completely wrong right now or something like that. So I don't even know, because I see Blake Cashman and I don't remember seeing him on the field at all. So I don't know.
But yeah, man, just what this defense, I mean, look, this defense is a big reason why this team has 2 wins. And like Tony Romo said yesterday, if this offense can just figure it out more consistently, this is the quote unquote team that nobody wants to play, because there's so much talent on that offense if we can just figure it out. And this defense, we're seeing the fruits of Brian Flores' coaching and the talent that we have, and some of these guys finally stepping up when we need them to. So.
Yep. And then starting with this guy right here that we need to absolutely feed, a guy that I think Kevin, even though, he leaves the 4th quarter, has 16 carries, a guy that I felt still could have saw the ball more, especially in the first half. I think it was Delton talking about there were still drives that were going 3 and out and da-da-da. And a lot of times we're not running the ball. By the end of the 3rd quarter, it's this guy right here, Jordan Mason, is impossible to tackle. He's just getting 10 yards every time he touches the ball. Need to feed him more. What is your thoughts on the game of Jordan Mason?
16 carries, 116 yards, 7.3 per carry, 2 touchdowns. And look, it's not even because when you see a guy like Jordan Mason, you kind of expect him to be that one cut, hit the middle type of guy, but he can break it outside too. He's got the speed if the blocking is going to get outside and break a run, which we saw multiple times yesterday. Mm-hmm. And you noticed early on that first scripted drive, running behind Christian Darrisaw. Again, can't underestimate or reiterate how much Darrisaw meant to this team in both phases. But yeah, I mean, Jordan Mason, what an absolute find by Kwesi to be able to get him from the 49ers. I bet they kind of wish they had him now. I mean, sure, that McCaffrey's still healthy and playing well, but still, just an amazing type, change of pace type guy. And honestly, I mean, Nick called it from season start. I think when Aaron Jones comes back, Jordan Mason needs to be probably needs to have a 75-25 snap share. I mean, he needs to be your guy. He's way more effective. I mean, it's just, look, Aaron Jones, a little long in the tooth, great in the pass game, but for just a pure running back, Jordan Mason, man, just this is it. This is why Kevin O'Connell needs to use him more. Which I think, do we have Kevin O'Connell later on to talk about here?
Yeah,
I'll get more into the weeds on that later when we get there.
yeah.
But yeah, just what an absolute stud performance by Jordan Mason. And if he can keep doing that, it's only going to make it easier on whichever quarterback you have in the game.
Let's go. Yeah, dude. And man, it is like he is exactly everything that we needed in a running back, and we're getting exactly what here. Skol Vikings, let's go, Minnesota Vikings news fan. Welcome in, dude. Welcome in. But like you said, 100, like this, our prediction was 20. Obviously, he didn't play the fourth carries. He probably does get that 16 carries, but it took until that third quarter when we're dominating them, where it's like, you're stupid to not run at that point, when he still started really getting the ball every single time. And I do think, I still think we could have used him more. And like you said with the Aaron Jones thing, yeah, it does. It kind of feels like he's a bell cow type of back. That's what he needs to be. And it will be nice having a guy like Aaron Jones to kind of spell Jordan Mason. And that's kind of where we're at when he does come back. It's going to be definitely an interesting thing moving forward to see how that goes out here. What's going on, T-Bass? Does anybody even understand PFF? For me, it's like the war equation in baseball. You have no idea how they come with their numbers.
Yeah, I have no clue. I think you can look it up, and I think they tell you how they configure all the scores, but
yeah, I mean, there's like the hard part is there's just nobody else that tries to make a number out of more things than just basic stats. So it's just like, I don't know. To me, it's better than nothing sometimes. Obviously, sometimes it makes you mad because you're like, he looked good and they gave you a bad score or whatever. But sometimes like in coverage specifically, a lot of times, I would say it's pretty solid in those areas. But I'm like, it's hard to like, unless you literally just watch the game, hard to like really say who's done good. So PFF, I think PFF is good for that, but it is fair to scrutinize a little bit.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on. Jordan Mason, absolute stud, great game. Hopefully you use him more often earlier to open up the offense.
Yeah. We already talked about this guy, but we'll bring him up again. And this is T-Bass's favorite quarterback in the world, Carson Wentz. Definitely on the stud. Has to be, comes in here, mistake-free game, does what he's got to do to move this offense, all very those efficient. Great stuff. Very efficient in this game. Still, he didn't blow me away in any ways at all, to the extent of I'm still team you. Like he's not the difference between us making a Super Bowl or not, at least in this first game. Obviously, we have a couple more games ahead of us. He has some good defense to go to moving forward here. But as far as this game, I mean, comes in, does what he's got to do, does exactly what you want from a backup quarterback, and he makes you feel confident in these next couple games that he can come in there and just kind of, use the talent on this team and not make mistakes and help you win games.
For sure. And then just, again, efficient, 14 to 20, 173, 2 scores, no turnovers. Just a very efficient game by Carson Wentz, distributing the football, not taking any unnecessary risks, which he has shown to do in the past. So just overall good game by Carson Wentz.
Yeah, obviously we already talked about him quite a bit. And the next one we got to talk about is Justin Jefferson over Chase. I already talked about it. And one of my bold prediction was that we were going to keep Jamar Chase under 75 yards and JJ was going to outpace him. That's exactly what happened. The backup quarterback battle, as well as the receivers between JJ and Chase. JJ takes this one. And yeah, 75 yards. Obviously, we're still waiting for 100. Are we still waiting for a 100-yard game from him? Yeah. We're still waiting for a 100-yard game. Obviously, You're already dealing with a quarterback carousel. You start with a rookie, all those kinds of things. JJ is going to get his, and he is still getting as involved as you can possibly get at this point, it seems like. But still, looking like an absolute stud. You got to put him on here just for outpacing Chase. And then another guy. What's that?
And not fumbling.
He's the number one. Yeah, not fumbling. He's the number one wide receiver in the entire league. And then I'm just going to throw Hawk out there. Hawk comes in here and has himself one of the best game by far this season, which is really nice. And I know that Riley brought up what's his name? Naylor as well. Yeah. And Naylor definitely steps up in that one.
Yeah.
And
And it'll be interesting to see if there is a correlation between Hawkinson and Darrisaw, because that's what Tony Romo was mentioning on the broadcast yesterday. How, you notice now that now that Hawkinson doesn't have to help block with missing Darrisaw, now he can actually get out there and start running some routes. So maybe we'll see if there's a correlation there. We'll see if this continues. But yeah, I mean, huge game by all those. I mean, not huge game by all those receivers by any means, but definitely a nice bounce back for a guy like T.J. Hawkinson. And Jalen Naylor has been pretty damn consistent so far this year. Really nice to see.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. Now, and then I know I didn't have the offensive line on winners. I know you wanted to hit on that.
Oh yeah, absolute studly on that offensive line. Not a lot. I mean, only allowing 3 sacks, 2 of which you could say were on Carson Wentz. Yeah, I mean, they held up in the run game, allowed Jordan Mason to get 7.3 per carry on 16 carries, 2 scores. Darrisaw was huge. I mean, holding Trey Hendrickson. Hey, Trey Hendrickson was a non-factor. And Trey Hendrickson is the leading the league in pressure so far this year, is what Nick Riley had said. And then last year, obviously leading the league in sacks. So being able to do it, and again, not the best defense in the world, I get that, but it was Trey Hendrickson, and with the way this offensive line had played in weeks prior, huge step forward. And this is without Ryan Kelly. So getting him back, and then obviously, I guess offensive line you can talk about. It did get reported today that Donovan Jackson's out 2 weeks with wrist surgery. Blake Brandel will step in. So eventually we'll get our full offensive line, but it's nice to see those little improvements come.
Yeah. Dude, 100%. And hopefully everybody's healthy by the time JJ McCarthy comes back. I didn't see the video, but I know there was a video with Kevin O'Connell, and they're saying that he said that JJ McCarthy was going to start, but then he kind of pulled back a little. Yeah, did you watch that?
We don't need to make that decision today. It's kind of how
he did. Okay, I got you.
Other than, I guess, I don't know if we have them here, because I think we're going to get into a couple of the downs right now. But Will Reichard, 62-yard field goal, amazing. Punt game was good. Return game was solid. Another good game by Miles Price. So, yeah.
The heck? How did I forget? All right, let me bring him up, though, because it does need to be talked about here. Hold on. Give me a second here. Will the Thrill, like you said, hits 62, hasn't missed a kick the entire season. A lot of people were worried. A lot of people were already ready to move on, because that's just how Viking fans like to be. Zero patience. Comes in and just lights out. Has the franchise record for the longest kick field goal in Vikings history. All that good stuff. Stud there. And then Miles Price. There's a lot of kind of hate for Miles Price, and I just don't get it. There's people who's like, just hit the hole. I'm like, what are you talking about? For years we've had guys who maybe hit the hole, but they just get hit. They just get blown up every single time. They can't move anywhere. I kind of like that Price is a little patient, and he finds holes and he goes through them, and he gives us 10, 15 yards on some of these. And I think that's a huge step forward as far as our punt return goes.
Absolutely, for sure.
All right, now to some duds. We do have to talk about Adam Thielen. Come in here. You gave a 5th round pick. I know all the fans, and we were on the side thinking that's too much, even though, you love to have Adam Thielen back, of course. A majority of the Vikings fans thought we are all stupid, that he was easily worth 5th round pick. Obviously, the jury's still out there, but when you trade a 5th round, was it a 5th round or a 6th round for Jordan Mason?
I don't remember.
I don't know, but you see the difference in level of like talent and everything at this point in their careers. And at this point, you get Jordan Addison back. Adam Thielen kind of feels like the 4th wide receiver and the 5th option on this offense when it comes to the passing game. And so far has not done enough to really become a big part of this offense. And then, you get the boy, Max Brosmer, coming in 3rd down. I think, third down, I believe is 3rd down. 3rd down and 10 or 9 or whatever it was. Throws a strike to Adam Thielen, and Adam Thielen just drops it.
Well, uncharacteristic drops by Thielen. That's kind of that's the story of this year. Like, against the Bears, dropped a 3rd down that he had in his clutches. I think he had a drop against Atlanta last week, and then this one is just uncharacteristic of Adam Thielen and his time in the league so far. So it's just not great, not exciting. Like, everyone with me, you're pretty happy to bring him back. Hopefully he would have stepped in as a solid wide receiver 3, but I mean, 2 targets, no catches yesterday, just not good.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Mm-hmm. And then to the other dud. I mean, you can't just say only dud to Kevin O'Connell, but play calling, inconsistencies, and penalties, Casey.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, look, first scripted drive, and look, you know me, probably one of the biggest Kevin O'Connell supporters that there is. I know he's an offensive genius. I know he's a really good head coach, but you have to be able to question him, and you can. I mean, the offense has been kind of up and down this year so far. And then obviously you get that first drive, the scripted drive. You run the ball quite a bit on that first drive. Things are open for Carson Wentz, a quick pass to Oliver for the touchdown there. And then the next couple drives, it just goes away. You don't run the ball, too many deep drops, and just then Carson leading to Carson Wentz, who doesn't know the offense that well at this point, holding onto the ball too long, trying to get the big play and taking a couple sacks. So and then eventually later on, when you do start running the football, when you get that lead, that's when your offense opens up. And that's kind of what Romo was getting at. It's like, God, if we can just find the consistency on this offense going along with how the defense is playing, we could have one of the best teams in the league. But it's just, I don't know. I do think, and we hoped Kevin O'Connell would want to run the football more this year, and I don't think he has enough, as we've talked about. So that's something that I hope he takes that from this game, that you need to be able to run, that we just have to run the football more, especially with the way this offensive line's playing, right? Especially this last game, and the way that Jordan Mason is playing. So it's just when the first scripted drives work so well, that's what works. So you just got to go back to running the football more. And then another coaching issue is the penalties this week. I mean, 13 penalties for 105 yards, 3 of them being false starts at home. I mean, that's unacceptable, and that's undisciplined. That's discipline. That's coaching. So look, again, love me some Kevin O'Connell, but you're not going to be able to have inconsistencies like we did on offense this week and all those penalties against teams with better defenses. And what do we have coming up the next 2 weeks? Much better defenses than the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah,
so you're going to have to play better, much more consistently, and much cleaner against the Steelers and TJ Watt and the Bengals or the Browns and Myles Garrett. Plus all the talent that, I mean, I was looking at the depth charts for both of those teams. Both of those teams are stacked on defense. So you're going to have to clean it up on offense, both play calling perspective, efficiency, and penalties if you want to stand a chance against those teams. Because, I mean, our defense, as well as they're playing, as we saw against Atlanta, you keep them out there for long enough, they're going to start giving up some points. So offense just needs to be better all around earlier on and often. So look, and again, it was nice to be able to put up some points on offense at the end there, but it wasn't enough early on to where we got lucky. The defense kind of expanded the gap on this game, and then we could kind of start imposing our will in the run game. So I don't know. I think it just comes down to running the ball earlier. Is really on offense really what it comes down to. And just, I don't know. It's just, again, I want to reiterate those penalties, 3 false starts at home is unacceptable. But I still trust him. I mean, we've seen what this offense can be when he's in his bag calling plays. And this team is too talented to not be good on offense more than we are. So I can figure it out. But yeah, it's a little bit disappointing at times this year so far.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. And hopefully, like you said, all those things will come together for us and just run the ball. I mean, at this point, what you've seen from Mason, there's no reason not to run the ball 20 times a game. But I've been talking about firing. That's crazy, though. That's not even close to what I'm thinking. It hasn't even been close to that bad.
Right. Well, then stop. Like, because that touchdown to Oliver was a perfect stick route. Like quick. Oliver gets out there, fakes out, comes back inside, just quick throws. So yeah, I mean, we got to get more of that.
Yep. Anyways. So just back here real quick. I don't know if you have anything else. Again, everybody, we're kind of keeping this one a little bit shorter today. Obviously we'll be on again Thursday for this game. It's Ireland's first, right? Yeah. The game in Ireland against the Steelers, which is going to be a lot more difficult. I mean, you get Aaron Rodgers, that offense is looking solid with him, and then a really good defense, and that's when you'll really be able to see how everything's looking with Wentz in this offense. But you do also get Jordan Addison. I know Philly wanted us to talk about Jordan Addison.
He ain't no wide receiver 3. That's wide receiver 2
easily
tomorrow.
He already is wide receiver.
But either way, yes. So you're going overseas 2 games in a row. Luckily, they're both road games. So you don't lose any home games because of that. But you have to play better offensively than you have so far this season against those teams. And because it's much better talent. And even on the offensive side of the ball, like you're not playing against, that Bengals offense is pretty loaded outside of Jake Browning, but you're not playing Jake Browning. You're playing Aaron Rodgers next week. And you're going up against a much better defense. So, but again, it's just good after that. Because, imagine losing 2 straight home games and then having to go on that 2-week trip overseas. So this 48-10 at the very least is a confidence builder, get you back on the right track. And hopefully if you're Kevin O'Connell, it gives you a chance to go back and look at what worked and just decide like, hey, since we're going up against better defenses, we need to keep defenses off balance. So I need to start calling a little bit more unpredictable offense, which hopefully includes running the ball a little bit more at certain times. So again, trust them to get it figured out. But at the end of the day, a 48-10 win, you're never going to complain about that. Nice confidence boost, gets you back on the right track, and we'll see where it goes from here. But yeah, and it's gonna be fun though. I mean, Aaron Rodgers again. But with the way the defense is playing, I mean, you're going up against an offense that has DK Metcalf, that has Jalen Warren, who's been playing pretty well.
Doesn't have Caleb Johnson, and it's really obvious.
It's awful, but yeah, I mean, but either way, it's going to be fun though. 2 games are going to be a lot of fun. We'll talk about that a little bit more on Thursday.
Yeah,
but 48-10, you gotta love it.
Let's go.
But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. As we said, see you guys on Thursday. Time TBD. We'll make sure to let you guys know that.
Yep.
But have a great rest of your week till then. See you guys on Thursday.
Skol Vikes.